Hey, I'm making a video because a lot of times things are just lost in translation um, through text. And so anyway, the only thing I can tell you is what I've experienced in my life. Like I can't speak for all white people. Like I'm an individual. And so from my own life, I really truly believed the way you did at one point that there was, like, you, what did you say, the racist population? I forget how you worded it. I've never heard it worded that way before. But so my kids are biracial. I grew up in Oakland, California. I grew up as the minority. I literally thought white people were the minority in the world, like, not exaggerating, until I was like 16 and a conversation was started and I was told that no, we're not the minority, and they thought it was funny. But I really thought white people were, because that was my life experience. And it's really about culture. It's the culture, like, it's not about the color of your skin. It's really not. It's about the culture you grow up in and the community. It's community, it's culture, it's family. It's so much deeper than our complexion. And I was raised to be colorblind. My family raised us to be colorblind for generations. Not just my parents, like for generations. And so anyway, I believe, like you did, about black people being I don't know how to word it right, but basically you think most white people are racist. So I moved out of Oakland. I'm back in Oakland now, but I moved to Oregon when my kids were about 11 or 12. I moved to Oregon. I was scared to death because I thought the KKK was out there, and I was really afraid for my kids' safety. Like, I'm not even joking when I'm telling you, I was looking over my shoulder and I was watching interactions. I was so extra paying attention to people. And what I found out was that my kids were so loved because they were mixed, because they were black. I would meet white people, they'd meet me, and then maybe the next time I ran into them, they'd see my kids. They loved me more. Like, I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you they loved me more when they met my black kids, my biracial kids. Of course, like my daughter, she's darker, so I always got the questions, did you adopt her, all of that. I'm like, no, this is the fruit of my womb, this is my baby, and I don't see her. I don't see my kids as a color. They're my babies, period. They're not a color. I don't look at myself as color. So it's so crazy, like, people say, okay, the black community. You never hear the white community, like, because we don't look at each other, we don't think of each other as one, like, entity, like, we're just people. You got some ignorant people out there. Of course, there's always ignorant people on both sides. You gotta admit that. On both sides, there's ignorant people. My personal life, here's another one. An ex-boyfriend made me get an abortion because he said he couldn't have kids. He didn't want to have kids by a white woman. Is that not racist? Is that not hate? He literally made me kill our babies. The due date was May 3rd. I was having our kids. This was, it was insane. He just came home one day. He was like, I got the money. I made the appointment. I got a babysitter for the kids. Let's go. And I mean, this is just my life. This is my experience. This is what I've been through. And so I don't look at black, I don't see a person and see them as black first. I really don't. And there's some scientific, I've got to research it, but there's scientific stuff that we're raised. there's different ways that you're raised. Some people are raised to look at complexion first, and some people are raised to look at content of character, and it's really hard to unprogram that after you've been raised that way. And so my personal observation is, within the Black community, too many Black people are raised to look at each other and to look at color of skin first. I think there's way more Black people that look at the color of my skin before they see the content of my character than the other way around. I think the other thing a lot of Black people do, I mean, I had a friend, my best friend actually, we were in the store one day, and I was in front of her, and I smiled really big at this little boy. He was adorable. I just smiled at him really big, and then smiled at the dad, and the dad smiled back at me. And then we walked a little ways, and she goes, "Ingrid, he's racist." And I'm like, "What?" She was like, "He smiled at you, but he wouldn't smiled at me. He's racist." And I'm like, I'm like, "Really?" Just because she goes, "Yeah, he smiled at," and I'm like, wow, so you're a mind reader. And this is really what has been pushed through media, through even movies and stuff like that. Like, I know what they were thinking. You know, what's that whole thing? It's not what's said, it's what's not said. Are you kidding me? Like, really? And to top it all off, this dude was Iranian. He wasn't even a white dude, but still white people get blamed for it, you know? It's insane. And so, yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, I wish more Black people knew how many white people loved them. Like, truly, not because you're Black, but because you're human, because you are equal. You are equal. We're equal. We're all God's children. Like, I don't just read the words in the Bible that says we're no longer slave or Jew, slave or free, Greek, slave. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stop drinking caffeine, and so that's just getting out of my system, and I'm slow. But we're no longer slave or free, Jew or Gentile, but we're all one. And I take that literal. I take that very seriously. We're one nation, one tribe, one tongue. There's no difference. I don't see a difference. What Martin Luther King Jr. said, for us to judge each other by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. I'm really tired of Black people looking at me and judging me for the color of my skin. It's not fair. It hurts. It hurts when a Black man makes me kill our babies because of the color, literally because of the color of my skin. You know, like, so that's all I'm saying. Like, I believe with all my heart we've come a lot further than what some people think, how far some people think we have gone. And that is what I want in my heart more than anything, is for people to stop judging one another, Black and white, and for Black people to stop assuming that an expression means they're racist. Maybe they were having a bad day. Stop looking at someone because they mean mugged you or whatever, because a Black person can give you that same look and you would not think twice about it. So stop trying to act like you can read someone's mind, because you can't. And if you could see through to their heart, I promise you, the majority of people, you'd see a much different picture. Now, of course, there's ignorant people out there. There's idiots. There's people full of hate on both sides. There just is. But we've grown so much, and I wish more people could see that. I love listening to, like, Jesse Lee Peterson. I know Al Sharpton and Jesse Lee Jackson would strongly disagree to listen to Jesse Lee Peterson, but he makes a whole lot of sense. People like Candace Owens, I mean, they make a lot of sense. The Officer Tatum, he's a cool dude. I like him. You know, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Like, we're really not that different after all. And I need more Black people to see me for me and not for my complexion.